Since the world first learned about China by the writings of adventurer Marco Polo more than 700 years ago, this large Asian country has come as the manifestation of all that is mysterious and exotic. Now, after decades of economic growth, this vast country hasn't lost any of its enchantments. Certainly, the contrast between China's ancient traditions and the new ultra-modern state that's developing has only risen the fascination with a culture that dates back many millennia. With the ancient and diversity of cultures, China is a giant travel destination, with the most megacities than any other country in the world and the country with the largest population. Any visit to this Asian giant is a beguiling and appealing mix of mesmerizing traditional culture and modernity. With 53 diverse ethnic groups and more than 292 spoken languages, each destination in China is different from the last. Hello everyone, welcome to World of China, a channel to explore China. In today's video, we are talking about the top 10 exotic places of China, so stay tuned and hit the like button. When most people went to China about 20 years ago, they only wanted to see the Great Wall and Forbidden City in Beijing, terracotta warriors in Xi'an, and walked along the Bund in Shanghai. With the development of the tourism industry in China, more and more feature destinations that are on stage, such as the hometown of giant panda, Chengdu, karst landscapes, Guilin, picturesque Yellow Mountain, etc. With a vast territory and a long history, China offers so much to see and explore. Discover fascinating, unusual, and adventurous things to do with our list of the top tourist attractions in China. You don't want to miss this last one. Let's go! Great Wall of China. Nobody can be a true hero unless he has been on the Great Wall of China, goes the popular Chinese saying, one that demonstrates the importance placed upon this unique ancient monument. In the eyes of most travelers, you haven't been to China if you haven't climbed the Great Wall. One of the iconic symbols of China, the Great Wall is the longest in the world, an awe-inspiring feat of ancient defensive architecture. Its twisting path over the hilly country and perpendicular mountains take in some great scenery. It deserves its place among the new 7 wonders of the world and the UNESCO World Heritage Sites in China. Built over the centuries and millennia by various Chinese kingdoms, states, and empires, the wall meanders through treacherous terrain and past some spellbinding scenery. While its earliest segments were built back in the 7th century BC to protect people from raiders, many of its most famous parts were built during the Ming Dynasty. The wall spans from China's western frontier to the east coast, totaling around 5,000 kilometers or 3,100 miles. But the most integrated and best preserved sections are close to Beijing. There's no better way to explore China's Great Wall than by hiking or walking along with it. Walk the centuries-old bricks and walk through watchtower ruins. Take your time and feel the history come to life. According to most travelers, you haven't been to China if you haven't climbed the Great Wall. Giant pandas in Chengdu, China's national treasure. When you think of China, you think of pandas. Make sure the city of Chengdu is high on your list of must-sees. The giant panda is not only deeply loved by the Chinese, but also by many foreigners too, and not just children. Although there are many zoos in China and elsewhere where you can see a giant panda, the best place to see them is Chengdu, the giant panda's hometown. It's here you'll find the Chengdu Research Base of Giant Panda Breeding, a massive facility that's home to more than 80 of these wonderful animals. Tours of the facility include a chance to see pandas up close. If you can, try to time your visit to match with feeding time. Also worth seeing, the on-site museum features exhibits detailing everything you'll ever want to know about the challenges of conserving these notoriously tranquil creatures. For a chance to see pandas in the wild, take a day trip to the Wolong Nature Reserve, 2 hours west of Chengdu. This vast scenic area serves to protect the natural habitat of pandas and other important species. Other Chengdu attractions worth seeing include numerous old pagodas and bridges, along with the many historic alleys in the old part of the city. There are many religious sites here too, such as the Monastery of Precious Light and Chengdu Huangcheng Mosque, one of China's oldest and most important Muslim sites. Beijing, home of the Imperial Palace and Forbidden City. China's second biggest city, Beijing, has been the country's political center for more than 800 years, and for almost as long it has been an important center for cultural, economic, scientific, and academic life. Beijing is a sanatorium to many of China's best-known attractions, including the spectacular Imperial Palace, also known as the Forbidden City. Many of the city's top tourist attractions are in its well-preserved historic city center, making it possible to visit most of them on foot as part of an organized tour. Of these, highlights include the magnificent Temple of Heaven, or Tiantan, Tiananmen Square, the world's largest public square, and the beautiful Beihai Park. Also includes the fascinating Beijing Ancient Observatory. Built in 1442, it was still in use in the early 20th century. A unique attraction that's worth a visit is the wonderfully designed Beijing National Stadium, or Guojia Tiuchang. Also known as the Bird's Nest, this unique structure was built for the 2008 Olympics, and in addition to guided tours, you can visit the stadium during concerts and sporting events. Beijing is also a great place from which to explore the surrounding area and attractions, mostly the Great Wall of China. The Terracotta Army Xi'an. While digging wells on the outskirts of Xi'an in the 1970s, that farmers stumbled across what was to be China's most important archaeological find, the Terracotta Army. Grouped over 3 large underground pits and built to guard the first emperor's tomb, the find included more than 8,000 life-size warriors, some 520 horses, and more than 100 chariots, along with numerous other non-military characters during from around 280 BC. Although some were severely damaged due to the passing of time, many of the statues unearthed have been painstakingly reassembled and stand as a testament to the importance bestowed upon the emperor and the afterlife. The site, part of Emperor Qin Shi Huang's Mausoleum Site Park, is one of China's most important tourist destinations and offers the unforgettable experience of standing in front of this assembly of soldiers and horses as if inspecting a centuries-old parade. Among Xi'an's other important historic sites are the 64-meter-tall pagoda of the Great Wild Goose, a survivor of the Tang Dynasty from 618 to 907 AD, and the 43-meter-high pagoda of the Small Wild Goose, built in AD 684 in honor of the Tang Emperor Gaozong. Another must-see is the Historical Museum of Shaanxi Province, China's most important archaeological museum, illustrating the origins and achievements of Chinese culture from prehistory to the Qing period of 1368 to 1911. Other points of interest include the town walls, completed in 1398 with 4 gates and numerous watchtowers, and the city's 15th-century mosque. This impressive structure features 5 courtyards and traditional Chinese buildings decorated with Islamic patterns. Kufu and Confucius. Thanks to its attachments with Confucius, China's most revered philosopher, the small town of Kufu in southwest Shandong has long been one of the country's most important places of pilgrimage. Not only was Confucius born here in 551 BC, but he was also buried here in 479 BC. As a result, numerous temples and shrines have been erected by devotees in celebration of his life and teachings. Perhaps the most important of the 3 main historic sites related to the great teacher, together forming part of a UNESCO World Heritage Site, is the Cemetery of Confucius, or Konglin. This large burial ground contains the graves of Confucius, family members, and numerous followers. The grave itself is a mound marked by a 15th-century gravestone carrying the inscription, "Grave of the Sacred King of Culture, who achieved absolute perfection." The graves of his son and grandson are situated close by. The cemetery, laid out around Confucius' grave in the 14th century, makes for a delightful excursion thanks to its more than 10,000 trees. Other important sites worth exploring are the Temple of Confucius and the Kong family mansion. Zhangjiajie, Pandora on Earth. Zhangjiajie is famous for its precarious peaks, limpid streams, dense forest, large karst caves, and biodiversity. It's one of the must-see scenic areas in China. It was thrust into foreign travelers' eyes via the movie Avatar. The Hallelujah Mountains were inspired by peaks like Heavenly Pillar in Zhangjiajie National Forest Park. Zhangjiajie boasts more than 3,000 quartzite sandstone peaks, is home to some of China's most surreal scenery. This spectacular alien landscape is best known for inspiring James Cameron's Floating Mountains of Pandora. One of the tallest pillars, 3,500 feet high, has been renamed Avatar Hallelujah Mountain by Wulingyuan district authorities. Whether you choose to go on an organized tour, raft along a river, hike to your heart's content, or take a hair-raising stroll along a scenic glass walkway, Visiting this place will make you feel you're in a sci-fi movie. The Yangtze River and the Three Gorges. Known in China as Zhangjiajie or Long River, the magnificent Yangtze River extends more than 6,000 kilometers, making it the longest and most important river in China and the third longest in the world after the Amazon and the Nile. Flooding from Tibet in the west to Shanghai in the east through 8 provinces, the Yangtze has for more than 2,000 years been China's major transit route. Its immense catchment area, with its 700 streams, covers about 1/5 of the total area of the country and encompasses a quarter of the country's agricultural land. While its immense length ensures the river can be visited at numerous points in China, by far the most popular for tourists is the beautiful Three Gorges, Kutang, Wu, and Shilin, a 200-kilometer stretch between the towns of Fengji and Yichang. In places, a mix of raging currents and dangerous shallows, here the river wends its way through the gorges and the rugged cliffs and high mountain peaks in a stretch of scenery as dramatic as the Grand Canyon. Numerous sightseeing options are available, from luxurious riverboat cruises focusing on the region's many historical attractions and places of scenic beauty to challenging adventure tours along the most dramatic sections of the river. The Mogao Caves in Dunhuang. In the west, there's the Louvre. In the east, there's the Mogao Caves. The Mogao Caves are famous for their delicate paintings and Buddhist statues. The Mogao Caves were included in UNESCO's World Cultural Heritage List in 1987. Artists from different periods of the Middle Ages left their work there. All kinds of works spanning over 1,000 years complement each other. Standing out in the desert, the Mogao Caves are like a glittering pearl that enhances the Silk Road. In addition to these wonderful caves, you could get some hands-on archaeological experience. You can take a look at the Dunhuang Research Academy. There, you can linger over copies of murals created by masters and can copy a sample mural on a mud slab with your own hands under the guidance of the teacher. The classical gardens of Suzhou, Jiangsu. Regarded as one of the world's most important historic gardens, therefore their designation as a UNESCO World Heritage Site, the classical gardens of Suzhou should rank highly on your China travel program. Located in the historic city of Suzhou in Jiangsu province, these magnificent gardens were established in the 11th century at a time when the city was experiencing abnormal growth and were among some 270 or more gardens planted here. Of these surviving restored gardens, the most famous is the delightful Garden of Lingering, a 7-acre site laid out in 1800 on the site of a park originally created during the Ming Dynasty. One of the most famous garden complexes in China, the garden boasts a pool, several attractive buildings, a man-made hill, a grove of peach trees, and a lovely covered pathway on the walls of which hang more than 300 stone tablets engraved with old Chinese characters. The garden of the Konglongting Pavilion, a 2-acre garden offering many unique features, including a double arcade connecting the inner and outer sections, is also worth visiting. Shanghai, the largest city in China. Shanghai is famous for being the country's most modern metropolis and offers a diversity of tourist attractions, old and new, boasting in excess of 24 million citizens. The city's highlights include numerous world-class museums and art galleries, ranging from the excellent Shanghai Museum to the China Art Museum. There are also a surprising number of quiet green spaces, old temples, and pagodas to explore, not to mention some great shopping experiences too. Must-see points of interest include Shanghai's broad promenade, the Bund. This lovely pedestrian walkway runs along the west bank of the Huangpujiang River and is popular for its very distinctive European architecture. It's an especially beautiful sight at night. Also notable here is the beautiful Yu Garden, or the Garden of Happiness, with its many fine old buildings. Other things to do in Shanghai include spending time exploring its more modern attractions, such as the 468-meter-tall Oriental Pearl radio and TV tower with its excellent views over the river and city. Be sure to cover the fun Shanghai Science and Technology Museum, one of the country's most visited science museums, on your itinerary along with Shanghai Disney. Well, that's all for today. Thanks for watching the video. Give this video a big thumbs up and let me know your thoughts in the comment box. For more exciting videos, subscribe to this channel and hit the bell icon. I'll be back with another exciting video soon. Till then, check out our channel for more exciting videos and stay tuned.